Welcome everyone to the Answers On video series. We're here in Davos in the Reuters studios, and I'm delighted to have with me two guests. First we have SAP's Head of Global Customer Operations, Adaire Fox Martin, and Brian Peccarelli, Thomson Reuters Chief Operating Officer. Thank you to both of you. Adaire, let me start with you. You're both very customer focused. So let's start with the customer. PwC came out with a survey of CEOs, which looks increasingly gloomy, it seems to me. There's big worries about trade, big worries about the anxiety over the economy, over geopolitical situation. Is that the sense you're getting from your customers?
You know, I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to spend a lot of time with CEOs across the regions that I'm responsible for. And I would say the mood that I sense is caution rather than gloom. And that CEOs are cautious about investments, about spend, in order to ensure that they're going to do the right thing for their business going forward. And I think it behoves companies like SAP to ensure that in this context of caution, value is very clearly documented and understood.
All right, so Brian, caution rather than doom and gloom. Is that the sense you're getting as well?
Yeah, no, I'd agree totally. It's not like 10 years ago when, people were recovering out of the aftermath of what had happened and everything. But it's been a long run right now. So I think there is caution saying, how long can the run go? And when will it slow down?
I mean, what is okay, so caution. I mean, I look at this survey and I see the fear of a recession in the US at number 1 on the risks, up from number 19 or something last year. I mean, to be cautious in that context seems rather optimistic to me.
Yeah, I guess we have to balance the other factors in the market, right? Because we're in a time of tremendous change from a technology point of view, where the pace of change has never been as fast as it is now, and in fact will probably never be as slow again. So as companies are digitizing their business processes, as they're engaging with their consumers and maintaining their consumer loyalty in a very differentiated way, they have to balance that with the broader picture. And I think that's almost the oxymoron that CEOs are dealing with.
Yeah. I mean, uncertainty is the thing right now, isn't it? From policymakers, from this whole uncertainty around technology. There seems to be this ongoing debate. Half of them. And the consultancies saying AI robots going to kill human jobs in the workforce. The other half saying, look, this is nonsense. It's doom-mongering. It's scaremongering. Relax. What's your feeling? Adaire, let me start with you.
Yes, well, I mean, I do believe that we are, as I said, in a time of unprecedented change. I think AI has a role to play in the future. But I think that role is one that should augment humanity and not replace it. And some of our core values, the ability to empathize, the ability to experience, these things will become more important for business moving forward than the sheer getting things done in an effective and an efficient way.
Brian, how's Thomson Reuters dealing with this technological change? Do we see a future of a smaller workforce as a result, or are jobs being added as a result of this change?
Well, in the whole area, jobs are being added in a lot of areas, and jobs are being consolidated in some other areas. Not unlike the past, I think the pace of change is very rapid right now, but that's happening. And I agree totally. When it comes to AI, I think we're proving out it's augmenting what people do. Not wholesale replacement. Even here 5-6 years ago, it was the fear of the robot replacing the workforce. Now I think people are understanding how technology can benefit what people are doing, help them do more, help them serve people. And I think in both our roles, being close to the customer and listening to them is just a huge advantage with this fast pace of change that's occurring.
I know China is an area that you're very focused on. What is the customer, the SAP customer, saying about China and the extent to which China is stealing a march in this space and what we can learn in the West from China?
Yeah, so China is a tremendous market for SAP, and the pace of change is super fast there. And particularly as it relates to AI, the Chinese government have made a stated direction that by 2030 they'll be a global leader. And when we look at AI in the startup world, half of the global investments today are heading into China in that startup community. But I would say in terms of dealing with business, certainly the innovation element is a very core part, but the same challenges for business exist in China as exist in the Western world, and that is the ability to be cost effective, to be efficient, and to create an awesome and delightful experience for your customer.
Do we need to worry about China's dominance in this space?
I personally don't believe so, because I believe that China is innovating in a way that can be of value to all of us. I mean, when you look at Chinese innovation, it's based on a high degree of personalization. And that personalization element is something that perhaps, we can bring to businesses in the West. So I think there's always an opportunity for East and West to cooperate when it comes to the world of business.
The other thing I want to talk about is trust in leadership. I know, Brian, you were on a panel just this morning talking about this. Edelman came out with a survey showing trust in government has fallen. Well, trust in everything has fallen, but at the top is looking good for companies is my employer. Trust in one's own company. Yes, maybe the best of a bad bunch, but how do we regain this trust?
Yeah, there's a lot of conversations on that panel around, corruption that's kind of at the root of the lack of trust when it occurs. And it's really taking public and private partnership together in order to combat that going forward. We talked a lot about technology. And a lot of examples were used of how technology is actually helping enable trust, providing more transparency, allowing for better regulation with a lot of transparency around that. And, I think we need to continue to push on that. Now, how do we expose things, and how do we put processes in place through technology that help fight that corruption that's a breakdown in the trust?
It's interesting, though, because, of course, it's in the interest of companies and CEOs to push the positives of technology. Richard Edelman was right here yesterday saying, one of the biggest issues in trust is technology, and employees are really, really scared.
Well, I think it speaks to the purpose of companies. And if companies have a very clearly articulated purpose, and in the context of that purpose, they walk the walk and not just talk the talk, and employees and consumers can see companies visibly doing that, I think that can make a change for organizations, and that trust quotient, absolutely.
All right, just to finish up with, you talk about your customers being cautious rather than gloomy. Are you the same? Is SAP the same? Is Bill McDermott feeling the same way?
We feel very optimistic about the opportunity that exists for SAP, because in time of uncertainty,
You're going to milk that caution.
the functionality that SAP delivers gives companies a way to manage that.
All right, how about you, Brian?
No, it's the same thing. I mean, we hear more and more from our customers, their need of what we do has never been greater. So we're fortunate we're in the position working closely with them and continue to deliver on that promise. So we're very optimistic.
All right, very good. Brian Peccarelli, Adaire, Fox Martin, thank you both very much for talking with us. That was Answers On. I'm Axel Threlfall for Reuters.